Bueno, muy buenos días con todos y con todas. Desde
Very
la
good morning to everyone here from IUCN and on behalf of the partners that are part of the initiative Amazon 2.0, the Natura Foundation in Colombia, Conciencia in Ecuador, Decorating Peru, Amerindian People's Association in Guyana, and HA in Suriname. We want to give you the warmest welcome to this second session that is part of our event of the launching of the regional launching of the platform. I'm the technical officer of the program, and I'll be moderating today's session. Before anything else, I also want to thank those individuals who have who joined us today. I mean, sorry, yesterday's session, and those who have joined today. Be all of you welcome. Let me start with some ground or rules or housekeeping rules so that we can take full advantage of this platform and also the tools that are available to you today, which you can use throughout today's session. First of all, I'd like to tell you that at the bottom of your screen, where there's a toolbar, you'll find this icon that says interpretation. You can click on it, and then you'll be able to select the language of your preference, the language that you want to listen to. The available options are Spanish, English, and Portuguese. Second, I'd like to tell you that we have enabled the chat option. You can share with us any greetings, messages, maybe where you have joined from, what organization you represent, where you're following from, and also we can tell you that in this same box, we can share with you from our side some messages, general indications or instructions about the presentation so that you keep an eye on that chat box that the messages will be posting there. And then last but not least, we have this other tool that is Q&A. We kindly ask you to write there any question you may have or concern, any questions that may arise throughout today's session.
Bueno, voy brevemente a dar
Okay, I'm going to repeat these instructions again in English, and then I'll pass on the floor to our colleague Carol, who has joined us from Brazil, so that she can say that in Portuguese.
From IUCN and the partners from the Amazonia 2.0 initiative. We want to welcome you to this second session that is part of the event of the launch of the regional platform of the Amazonia 2.0 project. So before we get started, I would like to share with you some logistical indications that are going to help us make the most of this Zoom platform and all the tools that it provides for us for this session. So first, I would like to let you know that we have this icon, this interpretation tool. We invite you to click on it and select the language in which you prefer to listen to this session. The languages available are Spanish, English, and Portuguese. Secondly, we have this chat option. If you maybe would like to share with us some greetings, maybe letting us know where are you joining us from, what organization are you joining us from. Also to let you know that via this chat, we will be sharing with you some general messages about this session. So just that to keep in mind. And finally, we have this Q&A window. We invite you to use it to write down all the questions or anything you would like to know about the session, things that may arise throughout this presentation. So with that, Carol, maybe you would like to help us, please, with these indications in Portuguese.
Bom dia a todos e a todas, desde aqui do Brasil. Vou passar as mesmas orientações que a minha colega Andréa acabou de ler. Bom, primeiro a gente tem aqui no Zoom, aqui embaixo, com diversas simultânea. Nesse ícone desse globinho ao lado direito, vocês podem selecionar a tradução direta para o português. Então, você pode acompanhar todo o dia de hoje diretamente em português, e para aqueles que também preferirem, lógico, em inglês e espanhol, essas opções também estão disponíveis. Além disso, nós temos dois ambientes de interação. O primeiro deles é o chat, onde vocês podem se apresentar, mandar as saudações gerais, contar um pouco de onde vocês falam, isso é sempre interessante para poder acompanhar. E no chat, nesse outro ícone Q e A, essa é dedicada exclusivamente para as perguntas e respostas que podem ir aparecendo ao longo das apresentações e das interações que forem surgindo. Nós vamos tentando responder ao longo do dia, ao longo do evento, e se tiver alguma pergunta que fique, nós entramos em contato, a gente pede a solicitação para que vocês enviem seus e-mails. De forma geral, é isso. Eu vou dar oportunidade agora para os intérpretes poderem fazer o papel deles, e eu agradeço e eu desejo a todos uma boa jornada, um bom dia hoje, sejam todos bem-vindos mais uma vez, é um prazer poder contá-los aqui, com todos aqui hoje. André.
Muchas gracias, Carol.
Thank you very much, Carol. Now, let me move this over here, and I'm going to share with you the objective of today's session. It's a class on the GeoViewer, followed by the agenda that we have prepared for you today. So the objective of this course or class is to let you know the use and functions of the GeoViewer or GeoVisor. It's a technological dynamical tool that is part of the regional A 2.0 platform. It will allow you to visualize geospatial information on different topics that contribute to the governance process as well as territorial management. Today's agenda, it's pretty short. We're going to start with some opening remarks from the Amazon 2.0 team. After that, we will delve into the demonstration, live demonstration, the video viewer, and then we'll be concluded with some closing remarks. No further delay, I'd like to pass on the floor to Braulio Buendia. He is the regional coordinator of the project Amazon 2.0, so that he may welcome us to our session today. Braulio, the floor is yours. Thank you. Thank you, Andrea. Good morning to everyone. Welcome to this second day of the launching of our regional platform. Yesterday, we had vivid participation. It was more the protocol. We gave the milestone of our story, how we built this regional platform. It was a participatory bottom-up project, and with the local stakeholders, our brothers and sisters and peasants and indigenous peoples have worked. And we have received several reactions from different public and private stakeholders, donors from the civil society and indigenous peoples, of course. So today, as Andrea pointed out, we want to demonstrate one of the most important components of the platform that is called our GeoViewer or GeoVisor. It's something we have worked on all together. We have contributed with data based on the information raised with the monitors, forest rangers, everyone in the field. But also, it articulates information with other sources, other very important data from strategic partners. That was carried out by one of our partners, the consortium that is Ecociencias. They have expertise and very long trajectory in this technical line, along with Sylvia, who's going to be presenting today. We've already conducted some training courses with greater detail what the GeoViewer is about. And today we are invited to participate in this just class. It's a lecture about this platform and this program. Should you want to see more detail, there are other elements. There are recordings of the classes that we taught before. They are available in our website. We also have tutorials, manuals, all the elements that you might possibly need or want to look at to complement this learning experience. I think it's important also that you use the platform. So once again, welcome everyone, and I hope that you enjoy and it'll be useful to you everything we see today. Thank you on behalf of the consortium and IUCN and everyone. Thank you. Thank you very much, Braulio, for your kind words and your message. So we start today with the second session. We're going to start right away. I'm going to pass on the floor to Sylvia. She'll be guiding us today through this tool of the GeoViewer, the use, the different functions that we might find in it. Before we start, Sylvia, just be reminded everyone that we have enabled the Q&A window so that any question, any concern, anything that comes up throughout the presentation, you can write it down in that box Q&A, and then the team will answer. Thank you very much, Sylvia. You have the floor. Thank you very much, Andrea. First of all, I want to welcome everyone to today's demonstrative session. It's a class, it'll be short. We're going to try to take full advantage of time. I'll try to give you the general idea, an overview of the main functions and uses we can give to our platform. Okay, after welcoming you, I'm going to turn off my camera to avoid issues with the internet connection. Please, whenever you can see my screen, let me know so I can start. Can you see my screen now? Yes. Yes, we see it. Thank you. As a second step of the launching of our regional platform of Amazon 2.0, we have prepared the second session. It's a demonstrative session for the GeoVisor, our GeoViewer. I am Silvia Villasis. I've been leading the consolidation and structure of these big platforms. So I'm going to try to share with you about it so that you can start using this platform that we've created. Very briefly, I'll tell you a little bit what is in today's agenda. We're going to look at the conceptualization of the platform, objectives, users, and the different uses, and so on. We're going to go right into the Geo Viewer, and we're going to be working there for 1.5 hours, and we'll review the interface, the Geo Viewer's interface. We'll check all the information that is hosted in our data catalog and the structure we give into the information that is made available. We'll also review all the maps, base maps that are available. We'll add layers, remove layers, visualize, review layers, and play with all the information found there. And also, we're going to review and download the attribute tables or the feature table. We'll also look at the options. We have to share our own map or to generate our own map and interact with the zoom in of the different layers. And we'll be using some of the tools how to measure distances. We're gonna look for geographical coordinates, and we'll be using the with different examples that I'll be showing you. The two very important, interesting tools. One is opacity, and the other one is the split function. And then finally, to conclude today's class,
de la sección Mis datos, en donde cada uno de ustedes va a poder ver que puede subir e
we'll
interactuar
review the section that is called My Data, so that you can interact with your information.
¿Cómo va a ser la metodología para hoy? La metodología para hoy va a ser...
Let's see today's methodology. First, I will be presenting and explaining how it works. And throughout the presentation, all your questions or comments are all welcome. As it's been explained before, there's time for you to write down questions, the space, and also the chat. And then we'll be closing the event.
¿Qué es el GeoVisor? El GeoVisor
Let me
fue
start by telling you what the GeoViewer is. It's being conceived as a platform. It is a virtual platform that is being built It's been thought of as a space to exchange information all the time. It's constantly being fed. This space articulates, files, visualizes, and shares geospatial data that comes from local knowledge efforts and also for capacity generation locally from the monitors or forest rangers. The project was implemented in six countries of the Amazon basin. Well, where it was Brazil, Colombia, Ecuador, Guyana, Peru, and Suriname. What was their objective? How was the GeoViewer conceived, this platform? The objective is to articulate in an integrated and dynamic manner the information that was raised in each one of the project's innovation sites. All of this, as I said before, is the result of a long process to generate local capabilities, also to do advocacy and to implement monitor programs in communities and indigenous peoples, as well as from peasants that were linked to the project Amazon 2.0. What kind of information will we find in the GeoViewer? Well, the information has been varied. All of the information that we will be presenting, it's a special data. They were raised in different formats, different methodologies, all of this responding to the local needs of each one of the sites where we implemented the project. We received information in different formats, CSV, SHP, KNV, GPX, and we have also uploaded, as we can see today, that the platform hosts information in WMS format. That's the thing about the formats. Also, the information type. The main information as the methodology has varied as well. In some of the countries, we have information on threats. In other cases, we have social cultural information. In other cases, information coverage and land use. In other cases, the indicators or the information was focused on the other indicators of forest governance. In other countries, it was forest management, biodiversity, climate data. We also have some monitoring routes, the routes where there is monitoring. So the information that we have hosted, once we see it in the GeoVisor, you understand better, it's pretty wide. It's heterogeneous, and all of this because it responded to the needs and it was built based on the local needs of each one of the countries where the project was implemented. Okay, just as the information is varied, all the information is different, the users are also different. So how do we see this platform? We can see that it may be used by the academy, forest rangers, indigenous leaders, technicians, public servants, NGOs, and GIS specialists. I mean, we have a wide audience, and I think that they can all use our platform. As far as users, use and information is concerned, this space, as it's been conceived, it's a space that we see for information exchange, for dialogue. There may be discussion generated off it, and we can also provide responses to the monitored facts. I mean, all the information that has been monitored is there, but it can create some early warnings or some future steps as well, or agreements that may be reached. We can also see that it's a tool that may help to visualize and generate our own maps, your own maps. Maybe many of you do not work with GIS, Geographical Information System, GIS. You might not have that knowledge, but we're going to see very simply how you can access that information and also upload your own information. So we see this as an alternative for those of you who are not very familiarized with this kind of tools in a simple manner and create your own maps and also visualize your own space information. We have also seen this as a tool that may analyze visual spatial uh, analysis based on all the information. In addition to that, knowing that you can upload your own information to the platform, I think it's an interesting space, and it may create this kind of analysis and debates on the territories where you are working. Moving on to the structure of the GeoViewer. All the information, as I've said, was raised, or most information that we rely on in the GeoViewer was raised in these six countries. And it's based on all the local needs of monitoring that we observed. As I said before, the information was pretty different, the formats. And one of the challenges we have before us was to set up the structure and organize the information that we received to put in a space that would be user friendly and to be able to understand it. That's what we're trying to share. From that viewpoint, what we did was to divide, these are the big A groups that you may have already found the GeoViewer. They host the information. We have a first group that is the regional Amazon basic information. Here you find information that contextualizes everything that is going on. For example, pressure, threats, indigenous territories, national protected areas. We'll see that in greater detail later when we are in the platform. But this is information that does not come from the project. This is information that most of it comes from the uh, social environmental georeferenced information system from the Amazon, and it allows us to contextualize many of the territorial dynamics that we observe in each one of the countries that are part of the Amazon. Then the next group, we have the regional information of A 2.0. That's the regional information, but linked to the project. And after that, we have the six groups where the project took place. These are the six countries. And then each country has their own specificities according to the information and where they did monitoring activities. So the information is structured like that in the GeoViewer. We currently have 217 theme layers. They're all available. So after a long and systematization work to systematize the information, structure it, organize it, then we have available these 217 theme layers. This is information with which we can rely, on which we can rely, and it's all made available to you. Once we have this this idea of the project, how we conceptualize the platform, let's move on to the Geo Viewer now. For that, we're going to do that through our Amazon 2.0 website. I invite everyone, once we are done with this workshop, you can go to our website. There's a lot of information, not only this, but many more other things. Or also through the button, the GeoViewer option, you can access our platform. Okay? So what I'm going to do now to continue with our class, I'm going to go there. There. This is our website, Amazon 2.0 website. I had already clicked there. I had already uploaded the website or the page. I recommend that when you're going to use our platform, you do this through the browsers such as Mozilla. Google Chrome might fail. There might be some difficulties. So if you want it to run better, we recommend Godzilla. I didn't hear, or I think she said Firefox. Okay, this is our platform. As you can see, it has two big sections. The first section where you see the map here, we have called this the body of the map. Here's where all the information related to our search, our query, or the layers. This is our workspace where all the information will be loaded. And then there's a second section that is found here on the left-hand side. This is the information manager or the layer manager. We're going to take a look at both of them. Let's look at the first one, this the map body. There are different options, different tools, and also menus, control menus. I'm going to try to explain very briefly the basic functions and uses we can enjoy in the platform. The first one I like to look at is here. Take a look. Look at the coordinates, okay? I want to show, first of all, that here in the bottom right, as I move the cursor, drop the map, the coordinates will change. So that gives us the coordinates of the point wherever I'm moving in the space, in the workspace. As you can see, the coordinates that are there are in, these are geographical coordinates. They're given in grades or degrees. If you want to change that, just click there on that bar, and then we'll have the coordinates in UTM. So That's the first thing we can look at, the option to look at the coordinates. Another way to locate is to click on a specific point in the map, and then automatically this window pops up and it shows the coordinate right here. So if you know about a specific place, you just click on it, and then there's a coordinate. If you click here in this button, the location button, this pin pops up in case I don't want to miss it later, and I can go back there later where the coordinate was pinned. That's pretty useful in cases when you may have identified a point in our platform, and then later you want to go back to it and you want to move it on to your GPS or some other browser. This is the option that will allow you to do that and guaranteeing that is a specific point. Now, to conclude, I'm just going to click here again in the window and I close that little window. So we just saw that by moving or clicking, we can access to a given specific coordinate. And here in the bottom right of the map body, we find the coordinates and then automatically they're shown in geographical coordinates. But once you click on it, on that bar, we can see, I think she's using coordinates. Now we continue with the map body. Then on the, I'm sorry, top right, there are these four options. We have the control menu. We have maps, share, related maps, and user manual. On the right-hand side panel, but vertically, we have the navigation tools. Here's where we find the zoom control. It's this first button we see here, the first option. Then we'll find the split option. And then we have our option or tool to measure. It's just a general explanation, but we'll go in greater detail once we look at the layers. You'll be able to see each one of these functions, how they work. Now, to conclude the explanation about the workspace or the map body, let's look at the information management. This section of layers that is on the left-hand side provides or comprises, as you can see, there are two buttons, two options. The first one is the site query. Here, this section, we can find sites or locations much more quickly. It could be countries, streets, maybe given specific location that you may already have. And then beneath that, there's this option to add layers. I click on it and it will take us to our data catalog or our library where all the information is there, it's available, where it is hosted, where we host all the information. So I'm gonna leave it here just a minute. I'm gonna look at this with you, the data catalog and all the information that we have available. As you can see here, I'm gonna click on this again, just for you to remember how you activate it. So again, you go to the layers and click on add layer. Once you click on add layer, there's the option of data catalog that is already on in this case. And as you can see here, we'll have the big A groups that I mentioned at first, where we have organized the information or the 217 theme layers that we have made available in the platform. What do we have here? Here you can query, you can search, you can go to the catalog and review more easy and use keywords. Let's say you might want to find information related to monitoring, for example. I'm going to type in here monitoring. And then automatically all the information there is available related to monitoring will pop up there. Also, let's say that I'm interested in not searching information, not a keyword, but a country. So I can click on, I can type Peru, Colombia, Ecuador, and then I'll see all the information displayed, all the layers that hold that keyword. I should point out that the way how you type your word, your keyword, has to match exactly the way it's been written in one of the layers so that you can see it in the list, in the search list as a result of the search. Once the keyword has been found, then you click there on the X and it'll be closed. So here, the data catalog, you can access through the data search. That's the first option, what we just did. Or you can also access it through this menu. And how does that work? How does the menu work? It gives us a list of the 8 big groups with all the information has been structured. But if you click in each one of the groups, then you'll see another menu. There'll be a breakdown list of all the layers that we have hosted in each big group. As you can see here, all the information I have already said is in 8 big groups. The first one is this big amount of information that provides the context and help us understand the territorial dynamics that take place in the Amazon. And here's information about the countries in the Amazon basin, the indigenous territories, national protected areas. Then we have a deforestation layer, the annual deforestation layer from 2001 to 2018, also a non-forest or non-assessed layer up to 2000, and we have information from Huizalca, populated centers, and the water network as well. There, then there's information on pressure and threats. A lot of what A 2.0 has been working on is monitoring and preventing and the response to pressure and threats in these places, in these the 6 countries where we have intervened. We thought it relevant to have this information as secondary information. It may probably help the analysis we will conduct. So we have uploaded information on mining, power plants, uh, railways, steel industries, and so on. So to navigate to through the catalog, you'll automatically see it like this. You need to click on each one of the options or the names, and then we'll have an automatic display. There'll be this window with all the information available. We have checked the first group very briefly. Let's take a quick look at the second one, that is regional information on A 2.0. Here, this folder will show you the countries where the project was implemented. We have the areas of implementation of the project, both polygons as well as points, and we have the number of monitors or forest rangers that are or were part of this project. And then, as I had said, we have a folder with each one of the countries, one folder for each country. Each country is structured differently because the monitoring indicators were different. So, for example, in the case of Brazil, we worked with the indigenous uh, people's land, Moamata, and then Chandlis State Park. And here the information. Well, we have the innovation areas of the project, the number of monitors, the towns. We'll also see information about population, connectivity. We'll see information on community areas, community use barriers, also pressures and threats identified here. So in this specific case, we have illegal punching or illegal fishing or uh, land grabbing, fires, drug trafficking, and fishing. Okay, now let's go to the second country, Colombia. In the case of Colombia, the project worked on the Manonguete and Niñeras reservation. So there's information there in that specific country, the way it's been hosted. It's different, but of course we try to keep the same logic. So we have an analysis unit, the areas of implementation where the project was implemented. We have the counties or the number of monitors who intervene in raising the information and monitoring. In the case of demographic data, we have population, housing, schools. We also have the transects of monitoring and the soil coverage in each segment. This was all raised by the monitors or forest rangers. And in the case of Colombia, there were some issues with the temperature, humidity, precipitation. That's what we can see here in our theme layers that we have for that country. Oh, water and biodiversity there too. Wetlands, water sources, species, mammals have been monitored, and also bird species. That was in the case of Colombia. I'm going to close it here. Now, Ecuador. In the case of Ecuador, the information has also been hosted into four or structured into four groups. The first one, all the areas where the project was implemented, the communities that were intervened, and the number of rangers, forest rangers. Then in demographics, we have population, the communities found there, and community monitoring. We see all the monitoring routes, all the routes they followed, and we have all the communities where they have raised information where the project intervened. And there's a strong photographic component in the case of Ecuador. It means that everything that was raised, I mean, forests, hunting, deforestation, territory governance, has been mapped through a GPS point and a picture. So here in this country, in this case, it's a little bit different from the other countries because here the strongest component was monitoring, but through photographs. After that, then Guyana, we worked with seven communities. Here's the information available from Guyana. We have the project analysis units, the implementation areas per regions, and also some other information about mining licenses. We move on to Peru. Here, Peru, we worked with 12 communities that were within the Atalaya province. And how have we organized the information? Well, there's a folder with all the information on the areas that were intervened, the number of rangers, and then we have information on demographics. We have information on connectivity and trade, then information on forest governance. In the case of Colombia, there was a strong component in forest governance and related to some indicators as to how could this be improved after the project started down to the end until it was concluded, until it was completed. Here, in this case, it's interesting because in this country, this was qualitative information that we try to express it also through the map and locate it so that it may be presented here in the platform. This is just for you to have an idea of how different, how varied the information may be. I'm going to take a final look at Suriname. In the case of Suriname, well, we worked in six villages, and the information was structured as follows. There's a big group on the project intervention areas, then all the data related to demographics and access to basic services. We have health and education data. Then there's connectivity, territorial governance, number of authorities that are present there in in the territory, NGOs that intervene in those territories, churches, government and non-government bodies, and also we have monitoring on force coverage and pressures and threats. Just to understand this a little bit more, the data catalog destruction, this is how we can access each one of the layers that are available. Again, in the search window, the search tab, also navigating and clicking what information is available. I'm going to give you an example so that we can see how this window is structured, the one I'm showing now. In this case, I'm going to click here on just one of the layers that I might be interested in. And then automatically you'll see that we see this pre-visualization, pre-window. It means once we see a layer, it might seem interesting to me, so there's pre-display. And you have an idea how it will look like, what it will look like. There's the name of the layer, and here's the metadata that goes along each layer that's been uploaded onto the GeoViewer. This is a way also to, it's an easy way for you to be able to review information without necessarily loading it onto the map. Well, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to load some layers. The idea was just to give you a quick idea as the type of information that you may find and is available in the platform. And now let's delve a little bit into learning how these layers work, how you can add them or remove them, and we'll interact a little bit with that. So I'm going to close this.
y me voy a ir nuevamente. Ahora lo que vamos a hacer es voy a tratar
What
de
we're going to do
mostrarles
now
algunas de
is
las capas
this.
que nos
I'll
quedan.
try to show you some of the
Entonces,
layers.
para reforzar ese conocimiento, voy a ir
So
hasta
again,
añadir capas, que es
again,
donde
add
tengo
layers.
localizado mi catálogo de datos, ¿no es cierto?
Where
Está
we start,
prendido.
here's
Y
the
tengo aquí
data
un panel
catalog,
de
it's on,
información
and
casual.
here's all the
En
information
este
menu.
específico caso,
In this
voy a mostrar
specific case, I'm going to show you a little bit about information on Colombia. As I said
los
before,
esfuerzos de monitoreo fueron
the monitoring efforts were linked to
tenemos un fuerte
water.
componente de
So there's a
monitoreo
strong
climático y también de
um,
localización de
component
secciones de
on
agua
climate,
de los
location of
bosques
wetlands, mangroves,
específicamente en este
body
país
waters,
tenemos
etc., especially in this country and in the area where the
bueno,
project
para
was
esto,
implemented.
lo
After
primero que voy a
that,
hacer,
the first
¿sabes?
thing I'm
Es
going to
voy a
do is
diagramar un poquito algunas de
I'm
las
going
capas
to
que tengo.
retrieve some of the
Entonces, lo
layers I
primero que
want to
voy a
see.
hacer es yo
So the
fijar
first thing to
esta
do
región
is
de
I
Colombia.
know that in
Vamos a
Colombia,
trabajar
we
en
can
Mononguete.
work on
Entonces, voy a
Mononguete,
hacer
that's the
eso y
area.
posteriormente,
Mononguete is the place. I'm going to
entonces lo que hice fue
find it
dentro de
with
mi
the name of
página
the place.
principal,
This is the name of the place,
como
Mononguete. I
y
typed
voy a dar
Mononguete,
clic en la
and
primera
I'm going to
opción
click
que
on the
es
first option.
una vez que ya me encuentre en el lugar,
Once we're
voy a
there
proceder a
on the
añadir
site,
a
then I can
añadir algunas
add
capas
some
en
of the
donde ya
layers
nosotros trabajamos.
where we
Entonces, lo que
worked.
voy a hacer para añadir capas es me voy a
So
ir
I'm
a
going to
este
add a
panel. Entonces,
layer.
primero voy a
I
cerrar el
go here.
sector
I'm
1.
going to
Voy a
close
darle
the
añadir capas
site
y voy a irme
search.
hasta
Then I go to
Colombia.
add
En el caso
layer.
de
I go to Colombia. In the case
lo
of
primero que
Colombia,
voy a añadir
the
es
first thing I
saber
want
la
to add in this
implementación. Si no
example
quiero
is the
saber dónde se
implementation
implementó mi proyecto,
area. I want to know where the
voy
project
a dar
was
clic.
implemented.
Una vez
I'm
que
going
ya
to
se me dio
click
aquí la
there.
información, áreas de
Once I see
implementación, estoy de
information,
acuerdo.
areas of
Localización
project
de agua y
implementation,
datos,
yes, I
listo,
agree
tengo
that's
la
the
lista de
information I want to
trabajadores
see.
y
And
los
I had two
datos.
options to add
Una es
this
la
layer
primera
to my
forma más
workspace. One
sencilla
is
en
through the
donde vamos
plus
a
sign that you
monitoreo
can find on the right-hand side
determinadas
of the name
capas.
of each one of the
Y la otra es a través de
layers.
este
And then
botón
number
para
two is
previsualización
this other
visual,
button.
add
It
to the
says
map.
add to the map. You
Entonces,
can
bueno,
use
en
that
este
too,
caso yo
the
voy
two
a
options.
utilizar add to the
I'm
map.
going to use that. I want to use
¿Cómo
that
voy a
layer, so I
poder
click
controlar
add to the map. As you can
automáticamente
see,
capas
there
según mi
automatically
espacio de trabajo?
the
Voy a
layer
hacerlo
is
más en un
uploaded onto
ejemplo
my
para que vean
workspace.
que
I'm
es
going to use
fácil de
another example.
para este ejemplo. En este caso,
In this case,
voy a ir
again,
a
add layer.
los
I'm going to
países que
retrieve
intervinieron
all
con
the
mi
countries that
implementación
intervene in
2.0.
the
Entonces,
project,
esta vez
Amazon
yo voy a utilizar
2.0,
el más.
but I'm going to use the
Entonces,
plus
ustedes
sign.
ven, si no doy clic sobre la
So
capa,
if I don't
no se
click
me va a
on
cargar
the
nada.
layer,
Entonces,
nothing will pop up in
y
the
puedo
pre-display
directamente, si estoy segura y no
space.
necesito
But if I'm
previsualizarlo,
sure I don't need to
clic aquí
pre-visualize it, I can just click
y
here
automáticamente
straight,
se me cargó también
straightforward,
esta
and then
sección
we
aquí.
uploaded this second
Voy a
layer.
añadir dos capas más
I'm going to
que me
add
van
two
a
more
servir
layers,
para esta
which will be
demostración. En
useful for
este caso,
this
yo voy a añadir
demonstration. In this case, I
comunidades,
want to add counties
añado,
or
¿verdad? Las,
villages. There, I add
listo.
villages there.
Como pueden observar, esta es una
As you
manera
can see,
de
this is
añadir
a
capas.
way
Aparte
to
de
add
previsualizarlo de
layers. There are
una,
two
pero
options,
también
but
hay una
one at a
forma
time. But
de poder
also, the
detectar
platform allows you
varias
to
capas
load
simultáneamente, que es lo
several
que voy a hacer.
layers at once. That's
Entonces,
what
me
I'm
voy
going to do
nuevamente
now.
hasta añadir
If I
capas.
go
Voy
to
a
add
seguir
layers
trabajando con
again,
el caso de
I'm
Colombia
going to continue to work
y
with
en este
Colombia.
caso
And in
lo que
this
quiero
case,
es
what I
meter
want to
toda
do
la
is
información que
load
tengo
all the
de
information there
estaciones
is
climáticas.
on
Entonces voy a
climate
dar clic aquí
stations.
o voy a desplegar
So I
toda la
click there.
información
I'm
que
going to
tengo dentro
show all the
del
information
grupo de
found in
estaciones
this group
climáticas y
of
tengo
climate
tres
stations.
capas
I see there are three
conectadas con
layers, and
todos los
how can
datos
I
de todas
retrieve
las
all these three layers
estaciones.
simultaneously? Well,
Nuevamente
I need to
presionando
keep
con el
pressing,
botón
long
o
click
la
and
opción de
keep it pressed,
control
the
de la
control button
computadora
in
y
my
después
keyboard, in my
voy a dar
computer, and
clic
then
más
I'm
hacia
gonna
la
click
opción
on
más
add
para
or the
incluir
plus or
en
to
cada
add
una de las
plus
capas
in
una
each
nueva
one of the
información
layers
sin una
while
pestaña.
pressing control
De
tab,
esa manera,
control button,
automáticamente las
control
tres
key,
capas se me van a cargar. Entonces
and then
voy
the
a
three layers are uploaded.
el botón
You
de
see, I'm pressing control, the control key in the
y
computer
se me
keyboard,
cargaron
okay?
en humedad relativa.
And then
Automáticamente, como ven,
add
también se
here,
abre en mi gestor de
as you can
calidad.
see on the left-hand side,
Voy a
the
hacer
layer
lo
was
mismo
uploaded. Then
para
click
temperatura.
here for temperature.
Automáticamente pueden ver en mi gestor de
Automatically, you can
temperaturas
see in the
y también voy a hacer precipitación
on the left-hand
anual.
side and annual precipitation or
Una vez
annual
que ya
rainfall.
tengo listo todo esto,
Once all of that is
nuevamente
ready,
botón de
I just go
done,
to done,
doy clic ahí
I click there
Se va
and
a
done.
cerrar mi ventana de carga
And
de
that
información y yo voy a tener
information where we upload information gets closed and all the information has been uploaded. All the information I wanted to visualize in my workspace has been uploaded. All the layers are there. Got it? What do we got here? On the right-hand side in the workspace, you can visualize each layer. Okay, but then on the left-hand side, there is the information manager. The information manager shows that each one of these layers that I've uploaded and I'm looking at has a small square, a small window. This square corresponds to each layer. In this case, I'm going to check one of them, how the information has been structured in each layer. Well, we have annual rainfall is the name of the layer that I'm looking at. There's a little box there on the left-hand side, at the left of the name, but if I click on it, it activates or deactivates the layer. It's uploaded, okay? It's already uploaded in the workspace, but then I have the option of seeing it or not seeing it. Then there's the option to zoom extend. Zoom to extend. How does it help? It can help you visualize the layer. In this case, let's say I want to focus all my information. I want to be able to see properly the information linked to annual rainfall. So I'm just going to click here, click zoom to extend. I click there, and you can see what happened. So there is a different display, how it is shown. I'm going to give you another example so you can see the difference. I'm going to zoom in countries where the Plati was implemented. I go to that layer, click on zoom to extend, and you're going to see what happens. In this case, since it's the 6 countries where the A 2.0 was implemented, it's zoom out, right? You can visualize the information that is available in that specific layer. So that's how you use it. Again, zoom to extend function. All of this is available for each layer. As you can see here, we have the layer manager. There's a window that corresponds to each one. Again, the name. And this little arrow pointing down allows you to minimize so we can navigate more easily if I just want to see the name of the layer. And what I can see here is all the layers that I have uploaded onto my workspace. But in this case, all of them are on. So I can switch them on or off, depending on the type of information I'd like to visualize in the map and what I want to show in the map. One more thing that might be handy is this data sets. This number we see here, it tells us is the number of layers that I'm working with. In this case, I have 6 layers loaded onto the map. If I click, this is the visualization, the display. I continue to work with the same number of layers. I have not removed it from the workspace. It's just that I have the option of seeing it or not seeing it. What else could be important? Oh, it's something very important. And why do we call it layers? Is the order. The order, how I retrieve them from the data catalog is how you visualize the layers in that order. Now for that, how does that work? So if I go one by one, it goes to this one, the last one I retrieved, and then the others are added. That's why we call them layers. Whenever we want to see information on top of other, we need to place whatever I want to move. In this case, I'm going to place it on areas where the project was implemented, and I'm going to drag it up where I want to see it, where I want it to be. I'm going to open it so that you can see how this works.
En este caso, esta es la primera
In
capa.
this case, this is the first layer I have. So it'll be lapped or overlapped onto the others. But if I drag it down to the end, at the bottom, Here we have rainfall. It's on the implementation areas, but if I switch it off, now we see it's below. So in many of the cases, the order, how I retrieve or activate the layers, that's important. But if the order was not right, okay, that's fine. You can switch the order because here in the layer manager, you can change the order. You can move the order of the layers depending on the information, how you want to see it and how you want to see them. Now, that's about retrieving information and layers and what we have in each one in the layer manager, how we manage all the layers to put the map together. What we're going to see next is quickly, there's an example of the information made available. In this case, let me open one of these options, one of the layers. I'm going to work with annual rainfall. What do we got here? Well, there's annual rainfall, right? And there is text, right? There's the annual rainfall and or the ranges in each one of the range actually where the climate stations were located. So this is information in millimeters and related to each point. That's what we're seeing. But behind this text, there is more information that is available to you. So from that viewpoint, some of the information that we see is the colors and the text, the explanation, what the colors mean, the conventions, but then we also have information that is linked or related to this information we are just seeing, and that's found in the attribute table. We have organized this information that is shown in tables. Then we have made them available and you can access them through the platform as well. How? I'm going to suppose that I'm interested in this information, the places with annual rainfall between 2,901 and 3,878. So here with this convention, I can see this color, the sky blue, this light blue color, because I want to see what information is related to it. So I stop using the information I have in the information manager. I already understood what the map is telling me, the colors, what they mean, right? And the sizes. And then I go to it. I want to go to the map and then I click because I'm interested in this specific point, which is the northest point. I'm going to click on it. And right there, automatically we can see a window. There in the window, we have additional information on that site, on that spot. About that specific spot, we see the annual medium rainfall, the category. We have the Mononguete location where we work. The village is called Pretty Field, and the owner of that climate station is Lena Dusan. She's the manager. There is an annual average of 3,878. That's the annual rainfall and a registry of 347 days in 2018. Okay, so this is additional information, not just the information that is shown there in the text. Not only that, but there's also additional information beneath that, and you can beneath a layer, and you can access it. I'm going to give another example. I just click on the X to close it, and then you stop seeing that information. So let's say that I want to know another point, have information about this other site with this range of precipitation, the mid annual rainfall. I click on it. What it shows me is that, okay, pretty much the same information. It's also in Mononguete. It's another village. The owner, the owner's name, and this is 3,376. I think she said with a record of 357 days for 2018. 356 for 2018. So we call this the attribute table. This attribute table shows the name of the layer, the point where we clicked, in this case, the annual rainfall information, then all the information related to that point. And then you can see this option that is to download this table. If I click on it, you can download it as a CSV, or you can download it in JSON files, JSON type. I recommend CSV unless you are programmers and work with JSON. This is the easiest format to deal with, and you can open it in Excel. So I just select it, download this table, click on CSV, and then automatically you can download the table. That's how you can access the information that is available there. What happens in the case that there is more than one attribute table linked to a point? For data point, we have mid annual rainfall, but there's also more information related to the project information or project implementation areas. Pretty much the same. You click on the name of the layer and then click on download this table. I should say that the information that is downloaded is strictly of that point, data point, and it's strictly about that layer. That's the information you can access through the or by loading this CSV format, like I said, or like I said, it could be JSON as well. Now, once we've checked the layers, how to add the layers, we can remove layers. Then also within each layer, there's the option to remove. So in this case, I'm gonna switch on all of them. I definitely don't want to continue working with that layer. I just click on remove, and then the layer is automatically removed. And then also there's the option to remove all together at the same time. I'm going to click on remove all, and then automatically my workspace is cleared, and then we don't have anything on the map, and all the layers have been removed. So what I've seen so far is how to add layers, the available information, and then now we'll take a look at other tools that are available that I want to show you. Now for that, we're going to work with the information we have in Suriname. I want to show you here, add layers. I'm going to minimize all the other menus, and I'm going to go to Suriname. There in Suriname, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open here in areas, the area where the project was implemented. I'm also going to open call the layer that is called indigenous territories, and all the layer of the demographics and access to basic services.
Acordémonos que podemos hacerlo de una en una a través del signo
Remember,
más.
you can do at once with the plus sign next to a layer, or also by keeping the control key in your keyboard and then click on all the layers you want to show in your workspace. Okay, in this case, I did not move from Colombia, right? But I want to see where all the layers went. So I'm going to use the zoom to extend option. In this case, I can use indigenous territories. That's zoom to extend. So I go to zoom to extend, and keep in mind that this option allows you to visualize the information of that layer automatically. Once you click there, it takes you to that layer of information and the visualization or the display. I called 6 layers. We have the number of layers that are active.
Y aquí tenemos toda la información
Here you
relacionada
can see all the information related to where the project intervenes, and also the drinkable water system, sources of electricity, and waste management. So we have this characterization, and also access to basic services in the area where the project was implemented. Here in the text, you can switch it on or off to see the available information.
Voy a cambiar el mapa base para que ustedes lo puedan ver. Esta es otra de las
I'm going to
opciones.
change the base map so you can see it. This is another option. By the way, the type of map you can have access to the 8 types of maps, and basically what it does is to show some of them. so you can see the differences. And then we can visualize this differently. We have the background maps. I should say that these maps were not made by us. We got them from other sources. And it allows you to visualize your map with the background. The background or the base map, as we call it, might depend on the information that you have. And also depends on how you want to show the information and what the aim is. So from that viewpoint, the aim is that you can see it well. So I'm gonna switch or change the base map with a clear one where you can see the name where we intervened in Suriname. But you can also see the symbols of each one. So this is waste management. This is electric energy sources, and this is drinkable water. So that gives us an idea of the information that is available. Once again, the information we have, you can access that through the text or documentation. And if you click on, there's additional information for each one of the layers. We have checked here in this control menu. It allows you to change the type of base map. And one more thing I'd like to share with you is precisely this button to share. This share button, what it will allow you to do is to share your map, of course, just as you are seeing it through URL or a link. Once you go to share, you have all the layers uploaded there. You have all the map perfectly done. And you say, yeah, I like it. So you go to the share button, click on it, and then you'll see automatically a link. When you copy, if you click on copy, you can share it with anybody else. It's just to, you just need to paste the link. The person with whom you share will see exactly what you're seeing. So the base map, the created layers or the uploaded layers, the zoom percentage. Just bear in mind that just as you see it, that's how the other person will see it. I'm going to open it here so you can see it. Okay. That's about the option to share through URL or link. But here also in the option, there's another option, another variable that is print. Here you can create your map in PDF form. So if you click on printing or print, there's the option. There it is. It's uploading. Wait a second. And we're going to save it. I recommend that all the options, you explore them. Here are all the options you have. Go to the print, and we can save it as a PDF. So this option, this share button allows to share, again, through a URL, a link, or you can also share or create your own map in PDF format and then share it. Now with that, I'm going to open this one alone. As you can see, what I did was I copied the link that the system generated and I shared it, but it's pretty much the same visualization, pretty much the same display, color, zoom, everything, the same base map that I wanted to share. And I'm going to click here. And that's exactly how the other person, the person with whom I share or with whom you shared, will be able to see the map. Now with that, we're going to take a 5-minute break and we're going to resume later and we'll check all other options that are available in the GeoViewer. Okay, so just I'm going to play a video while we come back and we'll resume in 5 minutes. See you in 5 minutes.
Mi pantalla, eso, gracias Silvia.
El proyecto Amazonía 2.0 ha venido desarrollando una plataforma regional integrada por distintas herramientas sociales y tecnológicas, que articula a través de una red de actores los distintos componentes del proyecto. El GeoVisor es una de las herramientas que forma parte de esta plataforma, permitiendo el intercambio de información y la generación de respuestas rápidas. Este instrumento alberga la información levantada por veedores y veedoras comunitarias en los 6 territorios indígenas y campesinos en que tiene presencia el proyecto. A través de esta herramienta visual e intuitiva, se puede comunicar, mostrar y compartir las distintas dinámicas existentes en los territorios que forman parte de este proyecto. La información compartida en este espacio es el resultado de un largo proceso de generación y fortalecimiento de capacidades en veedores y veedoras comunitarias, quienes registran información en tiempo real sobre las dinámicas relacionadas con el uso y conservación de recursos naturales en sus territorios. La información levantada por estos actores locales nace de su propia necesidad por contar con los mecanismos necesarios para tomar decisiones eficientes frente a las presiones y amenazas que ponen en riesgo los recursos naturales de sus territorios. Tanto la información registrada como las variables consideradas dentro del monitoreo son diversas, adaptándose a las prioridades y contextos de cada territorio. Algunos socios han desarrollado importantes registros fotográficos, como es el caso de la veeduría guaraní. Los veedores y veedoras en Ecuador han registrado información relacionada con la ubicación de sus chacras, de los recursos del bosque, caza, pesca y lugares afectados por la deforestación. Otros socios han optado por asentar información relacionada con sus medios de vida, como en Surinam, quienes hacen registros relacionados con la producción de miel, de pimiento y el manejo de la palma tasi cubana, usada para la construcción de sus hogares. Así como la información recolectada es diversa, la estrategia de uso de esta información también varía entre los países miembros del consorcio. Algunos han optado por vincular su sistema de monitoreo basado en actores locales a entidades gubernamentales, como es el caso de Perú, donde el manejo de las áreas forestales, su supervisión y control es realizado por los y las veedoras locales en un trabajo coordinado con la entidad forestal estatal. Es así como esta herramienta se está desarrollando a partir de información levantada in situ que luego es transformada en capas interactivas, permitiendo fácilmente visualizar la situación actual del uso y aprovechamiento de los recursos naturales, así como de las presiones que enfrentan los pueblos indígenas y las comunidades campesinas en estos territorios. Pero el trabajo no termina aquí. El proyecto Amazonía 2.0 implementará una estrategia de difusión y acompañamiento para contribuir a la apropiación de esta poderosa herramienta por parte de los actores locales. Esto permitirá potenciar sus destrezas hacia una incidencia basada en datos sobre tomadores de decisiones a nivel local, departamental y nacional.
Listo. Bueno, vamos a seguir con nuestra segunda.
Okay, let's move on. Let's continue with the second part of this demonstration. I'm going to share my screen again. I hope you can see it now. Can anyone confirm, please? Yeah, we can see it.
Muchas gracias. Listo. Bueno, entonces lo que vamos a hacer ahora, vamos a revisar un poquito toda esta
Okay,
información.
now let's look at all the information, the valuable information that comes from secondary sources. In the case of the social environmental Amazon information, I'm going to retrieve the layers here. They're found in this first big group, and regional information of the Amazon basin raising related to pressure and threats. So all of them.
Y en esta específica demostración lo que
For this specific demonstration, what I want to do is show you what's happening with pressure and threats in the areas where the project was implemented in Guyana. Once I've retrieved all the layers in the Amazon basin to contextualize pressures and threats, I'm going to retrieve this layer, minimize here the Guyana layer where the project intervened. In case any one of you may be interested in conducting analysis related to pressures and threats or indigenous territories and protected areas, all this information is available in our platform. You can cross-reference it to other information, your own information. I'll show you how to do that in a minute. And then going back to my area, I want to see my Guyana area, right? So I'm going to click on zoom to extend because right now I see everything in all the areas, but I just want to see this specific site, that specific polygon. So again, zoom to extend, click on it, and it takes me to the area of interest where I want to work. I want to know what's going on about pressures and threats there. What information are is available? Let's minimize so we understand more. I'm going to do this quick. There's a lot of information. In this case, we're working with 8 layers. We can see here in the number of data sets. And there's mining, so I'm going to open mining. In this case, it's all the polygons in purple, all the purple different tones. And the area of study is this here, this polygon that is highlighted in red. A lot of the surface of the project integration area is under some kind of mining concession. Now, about power plants. I can see this in the area of study. There isn't any about oil. I'm sorry, roads. There isn't any issue about pressure or threats because of roads or railroads. As you can see, there are roads. The first one was railroads, but roads, we didn't have any railroads, but yes, we did have roads, especially in the south. This is showing burns. Now, oil, we see that we don't have any pressure coming from oil exploitation, that kind of extraction or that kind of activity. How does that help? One more tool that I'd like to show you here is in the control menu. It's this one. To play with the zoom in, zoom out, if I want to come closer, I'm going to click on plus sign, and then it brings me closer to a given area. Anything you might be interested in. And then the other way around, if you click on the minus sign, it zooms out. So you can have a macro view of what is happening. So that's a handy tool. It can help you navigate in the map. So you can use that, the zoom control. Also the cursor of the mouse. You can zoom in or zoom out. That's about zooming in or zooming out. In case, I don't know, you didn't want to do something, this button in the center between the plus and minus, some sort of a circle with an arrow. If you click on it, it refreshes. It will refresh your zoom, and then you can see all the layers again. You go back to the beginning as it was originally uploaded. Since it's what I wanted to show at the beginning, the Amazon basin, it shows everything, but I can zoom in again. One more option I believe is interesting I want to show you now, the option to measure distances. So I'm gonna go here to one of the layers in my area of interest. I click on zoom to extend because that's where I want to focus. In this case, I want to show you the option how to measure a distance. So we already looked at this, zooming in or zooming out, refresh, and then there's the option to go to my location. If you click on it, it will send you exactly to where you are. And the this one, the final button, the third one of the white buttons, that's the one that lets you measure a distance. The second one is the split. We're going to see that in a few minutes, but I'm going to use this one now to measure a distance. Let's say that that specific case here in this spot, I want to measure more or less how long is this road that connects these two communities where I'm working. So in that case, I'm going to click on this measuring button, and then this window pops up. And then how does it work? I'm going to click several times, small clicks on along the line that I want to measure. So the more accurate you are, the better the calculation. I'm trying to be as accurate as possible here where I click along the road. And then automatically in this little window, that'll show you the distance of that road between these two communities where the project intervened. In this case, it's 72 kilometers. Once you're done, then you click on ready or done and it disappears. I might have made a mistake in one of the points. So how do we get rid of that? We get rid of this point. Let's say this is not the point I wanted to. So I click on it again and it is removed. And I want to reallocate some other point. Maybe you clicked and it was not on the right spot and you just want to move it. You don't want to remove it. You click on it and you move it to where you just drag it to the new location where you want to see it. So this is how it works. Just clicking on this button, this option is again is the third white circle, the third option on the vertical panel. Again, this window pops up, and just by clicking anywhere on the space where you are, where you want to measure a distance, it'll show it to you. And once you click on cancel, it'll disappear. So that was that. The other tool I wanted to show. Now I'm going to remove everything, remove this option of to measure. Now I want to show you other tools, other options in the platform. In this case, I want to work with the deforestation layer and the indigenous territories layer. These two layers, I'm going to add layers, and these two layers are in all the information on context. Again, the source is RAISG, RAISG. I'm going to retrieve the deforestation layer. This is annual deforestation rate from 2001 to 2018. So what I can see here is the information. There are two layers I've uploaded. On the one hand, we have the deforestation layer, and then we also have the indigenous territories layer. Let's say I want to analyze deforestation. Let's just suppose that I want to analyze those two things, indigenous territories and deforestation rates or areas. I'm going to go to Brazil, let's say, as an example. I'm going to type here and then click on the option. Got it? What do we see here? I'm going to close this search option. I already know where I am. This is the area where I want to analyze. So I'm assuming that each one of you knows the name of location, where you want to see, where you want to explore, where you want to conduct a specific analysis. You click on the or type the name. I typed Rondônia. This is Brazil, and you can see the deforestation layer and indigenous territories. For this specific example, I want to show you two functions you have. One is opacity and the other one is split. So I'm going to click on one of the layers, in this case indigenous territories, and we've seen that each little say square or box gives me additional information here, the name, the option to switch or on the layer on or off, the zoom to extend that we've seen before. We can easily see where the information relates to. And then we have the remove, where we're going to see the split, and there is related information. Here, the tool I want to focus on is this opacity. It allows you to see the transparency, how transparent it's going to be. Now, that helps you see information if there is information below that or beneath that. So this is how you play. The more you move towards the right-hand side, you see the opacity percentage increases. In this case, there's no opacity. It's full, 100%, the indigenous territories layer. The more I move it to the left, there'll be a lower percentage of opacity, and we see what is happening beneath that layer of indigenous territories. I like this tool very much because it lets you play with the information. It's easy, and you can interact with different layers at the same time. So on the one hand, we have opacity, and then on the other hand, let's just say the other tool I want to show you is this one right here, the button, the second white button in the vertical option there, vertical menu, the split. I'm going to click on the split, and you can see that automatically two things happen. The first thing, I'm going to click to remove it. First, again, I click. First, your screen of the workspace is divided into two. You click on it, right? So there's this vertical line that will divide the space work into two. And then if you can see another big difference, or the options that are automatically displayed, is this other button, or these three options, left, both, and right. Okay? This will appear in each layer. So all the layers that you have uploaded, once again, I do it. You see it? If you click on split, the screen split, so it divides the workspace into two. And then you see the options, left, both, and right for each layer. Okay? What does that mean? The split function allows you to see there. Okay, so you can see the information like this on each layer. And for that, we have this other option, these three options right here. So how do I use them? How can you use them? If you can see the layer of indigenous territories on the left, both are on the right. Okay, so in this case, you can see both is highlighted. It means that I'm seeing both layers, indigenous territories on both sides of the screen. What if I go to right?
Automáticamente toda la información que tengo vinculada
Automatically, all the information that is related to a layer will appear here on the right-hand side. And if you move it to left, the same thing's going to happen right on the left-hand side. The same thing will happen for each layer. So these lets you play with several layers and be able to interact with them and then create different type of analysis, visual analysis, and also the space. For this demonstration, I'm going to leave deforestation on the left, and I'm going to leave the indigenous territories on both, because what I want to see here is play with this information on deforestation. You see, and you can see all the information on deforestation will appear on the left-hand side. So every time I go right, we can see it from left to right, and then we can visualize what is happening in terms of deforestation at this specific area of study that I've selected. So as you can see here, is an area with a lot of intervention. There's great pressure from deforestation because of the agricultural frontier, but there are other interesting dynamics because there are many indigenous territories as well. So let's say you want to understand what's happening in these indigenous territories, because you can see that a lot of the pressure, a lot of the deforestation has taken place or is taking place, and a lot of the territory has been transformed. And let's say you want to understand more about the pressures, but it's outside the indigenous territories, but want to see what is happening inside indigenous territories. Now, for that, we're going to switch here to the other side, how we visualize in the GeoViewer, the indigenous layer, indigenous territories layer. And when I put it all together, and I'm going to come closer, I'm going to use the zoom option. I want to see what is happening.
Y lo que puedo ver claramente es que
What you can
dentro
clearly
de
see
límites
is that here in the
territoriales
limits of
todavía
the
existe
borders of the
un
genus
terreno bosque.
territories, there are still some
Entonces,
forests,
voy
outstanding
a buscar,
forests,
voy a darme
or
un límite.
standing
Este es
forests.
claramente límite. El límite
Here's
en
clearly
donde
the
para
limit,
la
the
presión de
border
deforestación y evasión tiene
where it
nombramiento
stops,
de bosque. Está
where the
justamente
forest
dado
remained that's
por
precisely
el límite de
given
la presencia
because
de los
of the
territorios
border
indígenas.
of the
Entonces,
indigenous
estamos viendo,
territories. That's the
si
border.
ven cómo
That's a
podemos
clear example.
observar,
You can see, can you
que
see it?
estas barreras o este rol que
These
cumplen los
barriers or
territorios
this
indígenas
role of indigenous
permiten la
territories
deforestación. Entonces, esta es una herramienta que a mí me
to
gusta mucho porque nos
stop
permite
deforestation. It's a pretty handy
interactuar
tool
con diferentes
because it
capas.
allows you to
En
interact
este
with
caso
different
podemos
layers. In
tener
this
el mapa
case,
base que nos
we
brinda
have the
mucho
base
la
map,
cobertura
which helps a lot.
de bosque o la cobertura que tenemos detrás.
The forest coverage, for
Estamos viendo
example,
qué está pasando en cuanto a deforestación. Estamos viendo
what's
qué está
happening with
pasando
deforestation,
en los territorios indígenas,
what's
pero
happening in
todo está
indigenous
vinculado
territories,
con el mapa base
and we
cuando
also
a la
relate to the base
definición
map,
de estos
speaking of
temas.
coverage and land
Esto
use.
en cuanto a la función de la
Now
división
it's about that
y la
function,
opacidad.
the
Y
split function and
finalmente,
opacity
para
function.
terminar, me gustaría
Now to conclude,
compartirles
I'd like to
un
share with
poquito
you
la
a little
parte
bit
de cómo ustedes pueden
how you can upload or how
subir
can
sus
you
datos. Voy a eliminar toda la
upload your own data.
información
I'm going to remove all this
sobre
information we were
voy a dar
using
un
before.
refresh a mi Zoom
I'm
para
going to
poder salir
refresh
de
my
este
Zoom
espacio donde estuvimos trabajando
to
y
leave the
darle un
workspace where we
resumen
were,
sobre
and
esta
I'll tell you
opción de que
a
ustedes
little
puedan
about this
subir sus
option,
propios datos.
how you can
Entonces,
upload your own
me
data.
voy a ir hasta añadir capas.
Let's go to
En
add
esta pestaña
layers.
tenemos dos
Here in
grandes
add layers, there are two
opciones.
big
La primera es la
options.
capa
The
de
first
datos
one is the
colectivos,
data
donde
catalog that we
estamos
already
viendo toda
saw,
la información que
where
nos
we have
permite
all the
la
information
plataforma.
available,
Y
everything
después
that is in the
también
platform
tenemos una opción
already.
que se llama
But then there's this
datos.
option that is called My
Mis
Data.
datos, aquí es el
Here,
espacio
My
donde
Data.
ustedes van a poder
Here's where you
subir sus
can
propios datos.
upload your
Entonces,
own
para
data.
subir sus propios
So
datos,
to upload your own
primero
data,
tenemos dos opciones. Añadir
there are two
layers,
options. First,
datos locales. ¿En qué
app
consiste esto?
add
Esto
local
consiste
data.
como
What's that about?
información que ustedes
That's
tengan ya sea
add
en su
information that
computadora
you already have in your
local,
computer,
pero en un espacio físico
thumb
para ustedes.
drive,
Y
or
después
local
tenemos la otra opción que
uh,
está a la derecha, que es
storage
añadir
place. And then the
datos,
other
que
one
nos
is
permite rastrear
add web
información o
data.
llamar
You
información
can
desde
retrieve
fuentes.
data
Ahorita
from
vamos a verlo
websites.
brevemente,
We're going to see
pero
that in
ahora
a
me
minute.
voy a enfocar en
Let's
añadir
focus on
datos
the first
locales.
option, add
Para
local data.
añadir datos locales,
To add local
tenemos
data,
dos pasos.
there are
El
two
primer
steps.
paso
First step
es,
is
tenemos que seleccionar el
you
tipo
need
de
to select
archivo
the
donde vamos a
data
subir. Por
file,
ejemplo, queremos subir
the
a nuestra
type
plataforma.
type of
Entonces le voy a
file,
dar clic
the
ahí.
file type,
Como
what
pueden
you want to
observar,
upload. If you click on it, as you can
llega un
see,
listado de
there's
los
a
distintos
breakdown
formatos
of
que
the
la
different
plataforma
formats that the platform will accept,
soporta. Entonces tenemos GeoJSON,
the
tenemos
formats that
KML,
are
CSV,
supported.
CSV,
Uh,
LBX y
these
tenemos
GQ,
opciones más
JSON,
como los
KML,
formatos
CSV,
shapefile, que
and
es con el que
other
muchos de ustedes
shapefile. I
trabajan.
know many of you work with that type of
Entonces,
file.
les voy a hacer así un
So I'm
repaso.
going to
Bueno,
go
esto en cuanto al
over
paso
this very
uno.
quickly. Now, that's
Y el
about step
paso
one.
2 es
And of course,
básicamente
step two
buscar
is
o
basically to
seleccionar dónde se
square or
encuentran estos
search,
datos en cada una
browse where it is,
de
where the
sus
data is found
computadoras o de
in its
dispositivos. Entonces,
in your
básicamente,
device,
a
in
través
the
de los
computer.
datos en el paso uno,
So
ustedes
again,
seleccionan el
data,
formato
my
en el que
data, you
quieran subir
select the
sus datos.
format,
Y en el
how you want to
paso
upload
2,
your
que es
data.
de
And step
seleccionar la
two,
carpeta
you browse and you
donde el
find
archivo como
the
tal
folder or the file
donde se
better,
encuentra.
the file as
Esos
such
son
where
los dos
it's
pasos que
located.
necesitan.
Those
Yo
are the
ahora
two
voy a
steps you
hacer un
need.
ejercicio
I'm
corto nada
gonna
más y voy
give
a
a
cargar una
short
información
example. I'm going to
vinculada
upload
a
information
uno de los
related
proyectos
to
o una de las
one of the
localidades donde estuvimos
projects or one of the
trabajando
locations where we
en,
worked
en Amazonía 2.0 en el
with
Ecuador.
A2.0 in
Entonces,
Ecuador.
lo que voy a hacer es voy a irme hasta
So I'm going to go
añadir datos locales.
to
Me voy a ir a
add
detección
local data,
al paso uno.
click
Y en
on
este
this first
caso,
step.
la
And in this
información que yo
case,
voy a subir
the
va a ser un
information I'm
formato
going to upload is in
GPX.
GPX format.
Para los que no conozcan los formatos
Those
GPX,
of you who do not know
en
about
la
GPX
mayoría de
format, most of
dispositivos
them
son
come
GPS.
from
Y
GPS
entonces yo lo que
devices.
hice fui al
So what
campo
I
y
did was I
grabé
went to the
la
field, I
comunidad donde
captured a
trabajamos.
monitor and
Y
route
me
with the
bajé a mi
communities that we worked
computadora
with, and
porque
then
no sé cómo
I
visualizarlo
downloaded it
en el
to my
celular,
computer,
ya
but I
sea a
didn't know
través de
how to
los
see it. I
GPX.
don't know what
Y
they
lo
do
que
with
voy a
the
hacer ahora
GPX
es
file.
subirlo
So
a la
what I'm going to do
plataforma
is
para
upload
poder
it onto the
verlo.
platform to be able to see it.
Entonces, ya he seleccionado
So we selected the format. Now browse local data. There I go to the folder where I've uploaded it, where I have stored it better, where I downloaded it from my GPS device. I open, but then wait a little bit because it's uploading. Okay. In the meantime, there it is. It's uploaded. I'm going to click on done. And then you can see now that automatically we've uploaded the GPS file. It's a file that is not edited. I just downloaded it from the GPS and I've just uploaded it to the platform to be able to visualize it and integrate and see what is happening with this data that I just geo-referenced and monitored in the field. And I want to see what is happening with some of the information that is available in my platform. So in this case, just a quick example how to upload information, how you can link it to the information that is available in the platform. In this case, now let's go to the information that we have raised in Ecuador and go to photograph monitoring because I want to see what points are linked or are close to the route that I've just captured in the field that I'm looking at now in the platform. So for this specific example, I'm going to go to one of the communities of the project that we worked with. And I want to see the deforestation data from 2018. So I'm going to retrieve this one. As you see, there are 2 points. If you click on those pictures there, I'm going to refresh it. Let me upload another one in the meantime.
Ok, mientras funciona, algo pasó
Let's
con el
give it a
internet.
minute while it works.
A esperar que funcione. Bueno,
Let's wait
entonces,
a little bit.
en este caso lo que hice fue
In
cargar
this case, I
varios
uploaded
archivos
one file,
que
right,
referencié y lo que estoy
that I had
tratando de
collected
hacer
before.
es
What I
juntar
want to
la
do now
documentación que
is
ya está habilitada en la plataforma. Entonces, quiero que
look
sea algo así
or
como si
upload the
tuviéramos
information that is
que
already
buscar
uploaded in the
algunos
platform. I want to
datos,
see the
pero no
work we
está
did.
funcionando.
Look at this one of these pictures. I don't know why it's not working.
Voy a
Give it
abrirlo
a minute. I'm going to open
mientras
another one
tanto.
in the meantime.
Veamos si así funciona.
Let's see if it
Y bueno,
works.
quería contarles mientras funciona esto también
While that
algunas
works, I want to tell
decisiones que
you
van a
other
necesitar tomar
things to keep in
sobre
mind,
4 formatos que a mí me parecen
especially
son los
in
más
4 formats that
usados
I
hoy en
believe
día
are more
o los
commonly
más
used.
comunes. El
Yeah, the
primero
most common
es
ones. The
lo que
first one
tienen que
is
considerar al subir un archivo shapefile.
what you need
Una
to
de las
keep in mind when
limitaciones es
you
el tamaño,
upload
ese es
the
el máximo
file.
de
One thing
tamaño
is the
para
size.
los
The
archivos que
maximum
van a subir.
size for files that you want to upload has to be 20
Y
megas.
otra de las consideraciones que tienen que
Another
tener con
consideration
varios
that you need to
formatos
keep in mind
shapefile
to ship
es que
files
tiene que
is
estar
that it
contenido el
has got to
archivo
be
en formato
um,
.zip, no en
pressed
formato
in
regular porque no les va a
point
leer.
zip,
Eso
not
en cuanto a
point
shapefiles. En
rar, because it's not going to work. That's about the format.
cuanto a archivos CSV,
It's
que
got to be
también
compressed.
algunos pueden
Now,
subir
about CSV that you can also upload, they need to
formato
be in
CSV
the
delimitada por
CSV
comas
delimited
y
by
tienen que
commas, separated by
mantener
commas. And then you
evidentemente
also need to keep in
que
mind
tiene que tener
that
coordenadas
you have
geográficas.
to have
Nuestra
geographical
plataforma
coordinates. It means our
no
platform
reconoce
does not recognize
coordenadas ahora UTM.
uh,
Entonces, en ese
UPM
sentido, si
platforms
tienen
so
algún
far. I mean,
problema subiendo
coordinates. If you have
información,
any problem
es
uploading your
porque
information,
no
it's
viene
because
en
it
formato
does not have the
coordenadas
format
geográficas.
in
Entonces,
coordinates,
esa es otra de
geographical
las
coordinates.
consideraciones que
So
tienen
that's
que
another thing to
tener
keep
al
in mind
momento de subir
when you want to
los
upload
archivos
data
GPS. En
about
realidad
GPS
no hay
formats or GPS
ninguna
files.
consideración que tengan que tener. No hemos tenido
There isn't
problemas.
anything else that you need to keep in mind. We haven't had any issues about the KMZ files. I can tell you about our experience. In many of the cases, it will ask you to change the format, the map format, to be able to visualize the
Entonces,
information.
esas serían como las
So those
principales
are the main
limitaciones que
concerns or
podemos
things to
decir.
keep in mind
También ahora
when you
mismo
want to
voy a
upload your
abrir
own data. Now I'm going to step ahead
nuevamente
a
este
little bit
diseño
while
gráfico
this
que les quiero mostrar.
uploads because I want to
Esto
show
es
you.
preparar un set
We're going to prepare a set of materials and videos where all of this will be available to you. If for some reason you have a question or a doubt, this will be made available to you and you can see it in the videos we'll upload. This is what I wanted to show now. So here it did work. What I did was to upload the track again in GPX format, and I wanted to link it to the information that has already been raised or collected, that's already there in the platform and is available. This is Ecuador. And like I said, in Ecuador, we made a big effort to have photographs, photograph monitoring. And to that extent, one of the variables that we monitored was deforestation. So I'm going to click here, and then you can see the information automatically. You can see the pictures that are related to those points, what the rangers monitored, the kind of information we have, well, deforestation, but we also have, in some other cases, crops and also hunting. Uh, I want to show you one so that you can see about hunting, hunting 2019 or hunt. Wait for it to upload. Just click on one of them so that you can see. This is the kind of records, photographs, photographic records that are available in our platform. That's about uploading your information. So I've wanted to show you how you can upload your information and interact with the information that are already available in the platform. Now, pretty quickly, let's go to their data, how to add local data. And I also said that we have all this at web data. How does that work? Basically, what it does is it retrieves WMS files, web map service, WMS again, and you can upload that into our platform. The advantages to use that is that they're not very heavy. And as you can see, that is very, very big, a lot of information. We're not going to have any issue to visualize. It's going to be very easy to visualize in this case. You must have had uploaded the information, the URL or link. The only thing I would go to my data, click on add web data. Okay, the second option, automatic detection. And just here in step two, paste, copy, paste. Paste the link of the WMS that I had already copied or found or whatever. In this case, it's adding it. I'm going to open another one.
Para no tener problema. Listo. Entonces, básicamente ustedes pueden tanto
So
llamar
basically, you can retrieve your own data in your local computer or also web data or WMS that has already been uploaded and available from other institutions. Then finally, and I'm going to close with that, it's all the information about support material and aid or help. We have checked the map, basically all the maps that are available. We've looked at the share, right? That you can create a link to share to someone else. And you can also create a map in PDF format. And then I like to focus on this user manual or use manual. It describes in an organized manner, a simple manner also, the step-by-step use of different options in the platform. As I said, it's available in Spanish. We're working on the translation into English and Portuguese. And also, we'll be working on this video sets or tutorials that will allow you to follow step by step, especially the actions that might need more help with, maybe where you need to make some adjustments. And it'll be like tutorial video. It'll be easy. We want this to be an easy tool, something intuitive, and you can use the information that is there. And then finally, we have this option this button here is your comments. In this option, your comments, if you click on it, let's open it quickly. You have the name. So each one can add their names, the email address. That's important because through that email address, that's how we are going to contact you and answer. And then type down if you have comment or question about the methodology, how information was raised, the source information, or some reason it didn't work, whatever is happening. This is the contact when we'll get that, and with your email, we can answer or respond to you. We'll be getting back to you to answer your question. This was the link I created and I copied from the web map service. In this case, it's Brazil. As you can see, we have a lot of information, and it's just click one of the layers, and it'll be visualized. You can see the information. This is how we retrieve WMS from other institutions that work in other topics with other areas or other places like ours, and how we can use the information. It's project information and also with information that you can upload. That was it about this. I know it's a lot of information, but it's been the main features that we wanted to share with you today about the tool. And so thank you very much, everyone, for having joined, for having participated in this workshop, for the time, for taking the time to join. I invite you to visit the website of our project, use it, and now about the video and the tutorials in the other languages. As soon as they're ready, you can them and play with them. That's all. Thank you very much. I don't know if Andrea, you want to say. Thank you.
Herramientas que podemos utilizar
On the GeoVisor and all the tools we can use, how to implement them, how we can use that information implemented in everything we need for our area of work. I also want to take advantage to thank the team that is behind everything in the QA's box. They've been paying attention, trying to respond to each question. We'd like to know a little bit about your opinion, to hear your opinion, your perceptions about this tool. We invite you to raise your hand should you want to share any remarks or comments, and then we can enable your microphone so you can talk to us. Give it a minute. Let me see if someone had something to tell us or you want to share with us. The perception you got now from this tool. I guess you're pretty shy today. Yesterday's group was also a little bit shy, but okay. All right. So unless anyone has a comment, you can raise your hand, but I'm going to pass on the floor to Braulio, pitch it to Braulio to close this session. But before that, I wanted to tell you that the session that we've seen today and yesterday's as well, that will be available in our YouTube platform, IUCN South. I think the team has also shared that link in the chat box where you find it. I think it's as of next week, so you'll keep an eye on that. You can review the session again, see the session again, and if yeah, okay. Braulio, go ahead.
Gracias.
You're mute.
Gracias, Silvia, por esa.
There, thank you. Thank you, Silvia, for your presentation. I know that in such short time to be able to summarize this, well, it's been a challenge, but I think you provided the essential information, basic information. You showed all the elements, how many things are available. I encourage you to use it and practice it. There were interesting questions that we have tried to answer. Thank you for posing your question. They're related to the sustainability of the platform, access to information, also how we deal with susceptible or sensitive information, for example, from indigenous communities. And we've tried to respond to them. It's a process, but basically the platform allows you to have this space to share information and use information, but the monitoring does not end there. Monitoring depends on the actions that the authorities may carry out, the competent authorities. So now we need to work on how to use that information, to use it as evidence, and especially the local stakeholders react to those actions, so to the evidence. So this is a means to an end. Okay, it's not the end. It's not the conclusion. The information is part of it. Okay, so the big challenge now is to use that information and cause action, promote action based on this evidence. This is not just for pressure or threats. The coverage of the platform allows you to upload different types of information, social, political information, or technological information, even up to commercial efforts. It's a first effort. It's not perfect yet. It's not completed. And we want to congratulate the EcoCiencia team led by Sylvia, who they have been working all this time on all the forest rangers. The sources of information, they are basic, they're key. And we've been working for 4 years. We are ending this year. We need to work on the sustainability. Hopefully, international cooperation will find a way to continue to contribute to this platform because the processes are long, but projects are short. So I want to thank all the technical team behind all this effort, everyone in the consortium from IUCN and the rest of the partners, all of you. Thank you very much. We wish you well. We'll keep in touch. Don't forget to visit our website. We'll always provide news and so on. And have a great time. See you next time. Thank you so much, Braulio. Someone raised their hand, Rebecca. I don't know. Karen, can you let her talk? She wanted to share.
Escuchamos, Rebeca.
Yes, Rebecca, go ahead.
No sé si la pueden escuchar.
Can anyone hear her? No, we can't. No, we don't hear her. We can't. Rebecca, we cannot hear you. Your mic seems off. All right. So she wrote her question in the chat, said the database of the indigenous territories that we saw is from 2010. And the question is if it was updated to 2021. No, not yet. That's something pending. Also, the deforestation data, we need to update that. We want to have more updated information, as updated as possible. Okay, thank you. Sylvia, Rebecca, let us know in the chat if we have answered your question. And okay, everyone, thank you. Thank you for sharing with us, for joining this session. We want to thank the organizers of the event and the interpreters who have joined us today and yesterday. Having said that, we close today's event of the launching of our platform and see you next time. Thank you so much. Goodbye.